Medicine at Midnight is here, so I'm going to tell you 5 facts, 5, about one of the most simultaneously uplifting and yet dark Foo Fighters albums of all time. Medicine at Midnight is their 10th studio album. That's massive. And they've been together now for over 25 years. It's a lot longer than I've been alive. This album was supposed to be released in 2020. They planned on waiting out the pandemic, but they decided to release it in February 2021 instead. Why? Well, Dave wrote to me.
Hey Sped, what's happening? It's Dave Grohl here. Just wanted to say that you got a really cool name, man. But yeah, about the album. Right now, more than ever, people need something to lift their spirits, something to give them some feeling of relief or escape. Yours sincerely, Dave Grohl.
Seems like a good enough reason, but of course, Foo Fighters don't know when they're going to be hitting the road next. No band does. Yet they still felt this duty to release the music to the people in a time of need. The track Shame Shame was written in one day, and it's the second track on the album, and it's pretty much an introduction into a new era of Foo Fighters. The music video for Shame Shame is inspired by a dream that Dave had when he was 14 years old. He dreamt of a coffin that caught fire on a mountain, and then he rushes in and tries to save the person inside. That image actually appears in the video, and it's really dark. And it was directed by an amazing female director called Paula Kadecki. There's an actor-dancer in the video as well called Sofia Boutella, and she's incredible. She's kind of like this gothic, witchy, contortionist shadow that follows and entangles with Dave throughout the video. At one point in the video, he even carries her on his back as if she represents the shame that he carries. And she could also be a personification of Dave's darker emotions and how he has to integrate these darker emotions to be able to die and then be reborn in the water, as it shows in the video at the end. I've already said too much. You just need to go check it out because it's really fucking cool. The track No Son of Mine is a tribute to Lemmy of Motorhead. Dave and Lemmy were pretty close. The song is just a massive salute to Ace of Spades.
Double up or quit, double strike or split, the ace of spades, the ace of spades.
It's got this gritty vocal over these pounding, chromatically descending chords throughout. And then even when it kind of erupts into that chorus section, it has the same kind of modulation, the same kind of shift, and it opens up in the same way. And obviously you've got Taylor Hawkins on the drums, just with that relentless pounding all the way through. Probably shouldn't have said that. Dave actually shared a really cool story about when he ran into Lemmy backstage at a concert, and obviously he wanted to introduce him to his family. And apparently when Lemmy entered the dressing room, he just had a whiskey in one hand and a cigarette in the other. But he spotted Dave's newborn daughter off to the side in a crib and just put his cigarette out in his drink without saying anything. I mean, to most people, putting out a cigarette in the presence of a baby is nothing. But to Dave, that's Dave's hero, Lemmy, putting aside all of his usual rock and roll traits out of respect because Dave Grohl's daughter was in the room. Today, everybody has learned that Lemmy wasn't just a whiskey drinking rock and roll star, but he had a big heart too. Waiting on a War was actually inspired by Dave's 11-year-old daughter, Harper. Apparently he was driving her to school and Harper asked her dad whether there was going to be a war. And this took Dave right back to his childhood. He grew up in the national capital, Washington, D.C., which is the center of politics for America. Apparently his proximity to such a politically charged location would give him nightmares of missiles in the sky and soldiers in his back garden. And he said that this song was dedicated to his daughter, Harper, who deserves a future, just like every child does. But what's different about this Foo Fighters album compared to the rest? We all know that bands that stick around for a long time, to some extent, have to reinvent themselves. And this is exactly what they've done on this album. It's a danceable rock record inspired by artists such as David Bowie and the Rolling Stones. This is territory that they haven't really explored before. And they knew that they wouldn't be touring for a while. However, they knew it was important for fans to be able to blow off steam at the weekend and dance around the house to their album. I'm wondering about the title of the record as well. It's pretty poetic and relatable. Is this album the medicine their fans have been waiting for? Will Medicine at Midnight encourage us to face our demons and find some sort of healing? Only one way to find out.